This visit to the Kalahari, Tina and I are staying in a really charming, eccentric, higgledy-piggledy little village called Askham. And it grew because the farmers around here, this is the old Boer farmers of the 19th century, they needed to come in somewhere for communion. They were very, very religious. So I want you to imagine clip clop in the wagons into town in a track. It was no more than a track over vast distances. They lived far from each other, and so the jewels in town were as important to them as the communion. Life was very, very hard, and so they relied on their religion so much to give them some kind of sustenance. Came the day when wagons were replaced by motorized engines. And the wagons, of course, had been the tent, the accommodation as well for these families. So now they started building one-roomed houses. They were called kerkhuisies, like this one. They were incredibly simple, just 4 walls. And into these 4 walls would cram these huge multi-generational families from the farm. Another reason, another imperative behind the development of Askham was the need for schooling. I mean, where were these kids who lived on outlying farms going to get their education? No such thing as homeschooling then. So it was decided to build a school as well as a church. And at Exeat, not Exeat, at the Nachtmaal weekends, the kids got Exeat, they flooded out of the boarding hostel and they went to see and drive their parents mad. Now somebody who knows all of this and this little town terribly well is Hanneke van der Westhuizen. She was more or less born on a farm a couple of farms away, and she was in the town from the time she was a very small little girl. So she's full of the most wonderful memories, and we're going to get some of them now. Walking through the little town with Hanneke, I got a better understanding of the deep-rooted way of life here. In the old days, when I was last here about 15 years ago, you could walk through somebody's property and to somebody else's. Why was that changed? I love that.
You know what, they put a fence here on this side to prevent people from passing here in the evenings, take a shortcut to wherever.
Okay. Drunk
yeah,
and
to
loud.
keep it more safe, but safe.
Yeah. And it's the teenagers I feel so sorry for. How can you find a boyfriend if you're living on a remote farm and the only chance is every 3 months to come to Nachtmaal? I mean, that is speed dating of a different kind.
Most of the people, but first, when they went to high school, was the first time that they saw a train or, you know,
a street, a paved street?
Yeah, paved street or so.
How extraordinary.
Yeah, and the first time they actually got shoes maybe, but not homemade shoes, because most of them those days, the parents made their shoes. The velskoenen. And and so when they go to high school, they got proper shoes.
Wow, and Ma had made their frocks.
The clothing, all homemade. It was those years, it was all homemade.
Including yours?
Yes, definitely. I think I was in high school around the end of my school years that I got, bought, that my mum bought myself some dresses from Truers or so, because it was all homemade.
But tell me, were you teased by the people who were in town and
didn't? No,
there
not
wasn't
at all.
like
no,
that.
because it was nice clothing. Yeah, but every mum made the kids' clothes.
And here, in this harshest of harsh places, where men are men and women shoot rifles, we have a pink cafe and a car that would get you about 3 kilometers down the road we've just come down. Whoa, people must have been shocked when this arrived.
Yes, definitely.
What did they think it arrived in town?
Yeah, they were amazed by the car and just be here and
Must have been an absolute scunner.
yeah.
Because it's an agricultural store, you'd expect birdseed and mixed fowl seed and crushed maize. And the reason I'm lurking here is because this is the coolest place in Askham. I would be a very good saleswoman of that. So that you'd expect in an agricultural town. Dry goods, little tinned mugs, of course. But what you wouldn't expect was a full taste neighbourhood. Look at this. With some delicious biscuits and alles and alles and alles. Look at this gorgeous olive oil. I must go home with some of that. And cosmetics. Kyk daar. A full range of cosmetics. And apparently the tourists that come from abroad absolutely love it. I want to show you what I love at the moment. Mm-hmm. Well, not at the moment, probably forevermore, are these. Mm-hmm. This is, these are products made with camel milk. And the taste of camel milk I've just been sold on. I've just gone to the dairy. You need to have a look at my Facebook, my podcast about that. Have you tried any of these?
Yes, they are amazing. Yeah.
In what way?
In the it's very dry and the hot sun and everything, and your skin turns very dry.
Yeah.
So yeah, the moist, to put back moist in your skin. Yeah.
Okay, I must load up on those too.
And I love the boo syrup.
Oh yes.
That's my favorite because you take out any marks on your clothing and stuff like that.
I don't believe that.
Yes, any marks on your clothing, it takes it out. So it's one of the popular stuff in the shop.
So are you telling me I have to
You can
buy...
cut this,
Okay.
But otherwise, there's the small packets. The small packets and here's the creamy ones.
So you literally
use it,
rub
you
it
can
on
just
the stain,
yes,
and you
rub
leave it on for a while.
Yeah, and then you can do, if it's still there, you just rub it a bit with your hands.
Wonderful.
And put it in the washing machine and voila.
Okay, so this incredibly tasteful store, which is cool, is in the middle of this really, really hard place. It's just, they say the Kalahari takes from you long before it starts giving back. I'm still not sure it's given back to me, with the exception of 2 beautiful dogs and perhaps 2 more. But it's become a lot more tasteful and a lot softer with the development of a lovely cafe down the road where you can have all manner of meals, and a store like this, and accommodation like Haneke's with white linen, crisp linen. It's become a lot easier to deal with. And I think Askham rocks.